to another edition of Amy Draws, where you can explore the unfascinating life of a comic artist. Alright, I'm kidding, really? I know, my brother's much better at being a ham than I am. But anyway, on to art business. So here I'm sharing with you one of my diary comics from sketch to finish. My diary comics are a little more cartoony than my serious webcomic, and I do not normally do thumbnails for these because they are quick gag comics. I just sketch things out, and if I don't like something, I will erase it and just redraw it. They're pretty small drawings anyway. You'll also notice that I do reference my script a lot during this. That's because I had forgotten, everything that I've written and I needed to reference it. So that's what you'll see me going back and forth with the text for. Excuse me. You will also notice me using the transform tool a lot during the sketching process, and it's totally okay to use this. You should be using all of your tools available. Don't let anybody guilt you into not using something because they think it's cheating. I also decided that I needed to find some No Man's Sky references, specifically for the spacesuit and the ship, the iconic ship, because this was a gag comic involving me and playing No Man's Sky, and how my username is Tsuki Pookie, which seems really ridiculous for a space explorer. Anyway, I found the suitable references in the background, and then I started basically sketching a Jigglypuff in a spacesuit in a No Man's Sky sort of landscape is what I ended up doing here. And this was the end gag panel. Jigglypuff. I do not normally draw spaceships, so I definitely had to swipe down and review the ship multiple times, because spaceships are not my forte, so I need a lot of practice in drawing them, so I need a lot of referencing. And, it's totally okay to reference people. It's how you learn. You need to be able to look at things and be able to translate that. And you can't do that just from all memory alone. Though I could with Jigglypuff, but, it's a Jigglypuff. You will also notice that I totally just redrew the second panel because I kind of thought that the pose for the second panel was too much like the one for the third and final panel, and I thought that was boring. So I decided to change it to a hands on the hip, like, looking forward pose. And here I am inking. I'm using some of Ray Frenton's brushes again. I believe it's the Inker Nib Gritty? Or... no, it might be the leaky one. My bad. I do use the Nib Gritty though for all of the drawings inside the panels. I was just using the leaky one for the panels. I feel that my inking is pretty straightforward, and I use basically all the same inking techniques that I do with my serious webcomic. I do clean up a lot in the inking phase because you'll notice that my pencils really look a lot like roughs. I add a lot more details during the inking phase and basically just make everything look a lot more tidy. Probably the only thing that I did do differently with this inking process was I used a little more hatching, especially with this background drawing with the Jigglypuff here, because I knew that I wanted to use like a faux ink wash brush, so I didn't want to have to deal with using too many grays. I just wanted to block it in, so in order to get a little more depth, I added the hatching. Enjoy the little derpy rabbit in the background. I did not meet any derpy rabbits in my No Man's Sky adventuring, but should I have met a derpy rabbit, it would have pleased me. Yep, that was the whole problem with No Man's Sky. There weren't derpy rabbits. If there had been, it would have been a whole other ball game. Okay, I'll keep my comments strictly to the art from now on. So I'm doing a little lettering here. Obviously you saw me, I freehanded those black blobs. And watch out, watch out! I'm doing an illegal. I totally just did an illegal transform. Oh my god, I don't believe myself. I'm kidding. You know my lecture from earlier. You're totally free to use the transform tool. So here I decided I did not like the preset talk bubbles from Clip Studio, so I used the freehand bubble tool, talk bubble tool, speech bubble tool, whatever you want to call them, I don't care. And I made them look more like the shape that I drew, basically. And I did that for the next panel as well. One thing about the freehand bubble tool is that it can be a little bit dodgy. Like, you'll get these little bleeps and bloops here and there that you have to readjust. I don't know whether I'm just not using the tool very well, and maybe I just need more practice, or maybe it's just something inherent with the tool, but it is a bit fiddly, so be aware of that. Whoop, 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 whoop. Someone called the art police on me. I am using the transform tool. Okay, sorry. I'm kidding. Hand lettering. I hand letter my sound effects usually because I find it a lot easier, because I do not really like CSP's text tool. It doesn't allow you to put things at an angle and warp them and all sorts of other stuff unless you want to rasterize it, and I don't want to. So Clip Studio, I'm sorry, but your text tools are inferior to Photoshop. And now for the tone. I do this for all my diary comics. I do a faux ink wash, and again, I'm just using some of Ray Frendon's brushes. So just go out and buy Ray Frendon's brushes because they are awesome, and that is all I have to say about that. So my whole goal with using the faux ink wash is just to keep it simple. I do not want to overdo any of this, and I want to try to be speedy, essentially. So this about wraps up this video, because this piece is almost done. As always, feel free to subscribe, and liking my videos also helps me with the algorithms and all that jazz. And as usual, I am at Tsukiono on just about every social media except my new Facebook page, in which case I am at Amy Stoddard Illustration. And then don't forget about my webcomic, findsometimes.rain.genkygirl.com, or if you would like to see my diary comic, the one that I'm actually drawing here, that is at commongirlcomic.com. Yes, com. No, net. No, com. Wait, no. Yes, it's .com. I'm kidding you. I'm sorry. I'm confusing you right at the end of the video. How dare I? Anyway, that's it for now. Have a great day, and get drawing, people!